in basketball, are there fans that you go play away that they can literally take the game from you? You can feel like, damn, the fans is not gonna let us win this one tonight.
Yes, I mean.
What places?
Boston.
Boston, yeah.
Why do you hate Boston?
Because they racist as
On HBO's The Shop, LeBron James gives his insight on playing in Boston, Massachusetts.
That's
they
why
nasty.
they will say anything, and it's fine. I mean, like it's my life. I mean, I've been dealing with it my whole life. I don't mind it. Like I hear it. Like if I hear somebody like close by, I check them real quick. I move on to the game. Whatever. They're gonna say whatever they want to say. They might throw something on you.
When he says this, he doesn't mean it's always verbal, by the way.
I mean, I got a beer thrown on me leaving the game. You know, like
Boston is-
it's Boston.
It's the only place in the NBA in America you go and they have like shirts that say like LeBron.
Yeah, it was like
whole
a
section.
It was like a LBJ T-shirt. I believe they probably sold it at the team shop.
No, they sold it outside the arena.
What troubles me is the following. When it comes to the criticisms of Boston, everyone reacts like LeBron James is the first one to say this. He's not.
So the difference with going to Boston, we had to know exactly where to eat. Or we had to send somebody to go get our food.
John Sally played in the NBA for 12 seasons. He told Vlad TV of his travels to Beantown.
The threats we were getting from these people saying stuff and onto the bus.
But it wasn't just John Sally. NBA veteran DeMarcus Boogie Cousins spoke on it as well. He told Yahoo Sports' Chris B. Haynes he was called the N-word on several occasions. Haynes later reported, after Cousins declined to state the location, it was Boston. The fan was banned for 2 years. This also goes for members of Boston's teams, not just the visitors. Kevin Youkilis played for the Boston Red Sox. He told Fox Sports Radio the following: Boston was tough, being a fan favorite there, being a white guy, being Jewish, with Brookline right down the street, a very Jewish neighborhood. I was lucky. They loved me. But I did see some tension with even my own teammates, he said. There was one incident where a fan came running down and was being extra harsh towards one of our black players, and I just got fed up, and I stood up and told him to shut the F up, and if you don't like it, get out of here. I will never forget that moment because I was boiling. You could see the tension, and it wasn't the same tension that was towards a white player. For the most part, I'd like to say too, though. With Red Sox fans, it's not the majority, it's a minority of people that act like that, but the minority is too big and you have to eliminate that. Celtics point guard and NBA Defensive Player of the Year Marcus Smart wrote in the Players Tribune how he sensed danger when a white woman and her young son were crossing as oncoming traffic headed in their direction. Per Smart's account, he politely told them to hurry so they wouldn't be damaged. Instead of paying heed to the threat the woman wearing a Celtics jersey had in her direction, she yelled at Smart, F you effing N-word. For a second, it was like I couldn't breathe, he wrote. Just like that, I was made to feel less than human. I think about that night, that moment a lot. And more than anything else, I think about that little boy. 9-time Gold Glove Award winner Torrey Hunter also detailed his experience playing in Boston. I've been called the N-word in Boston 100 times. Hunter, who played 19 seasons between 3 organizations, revealed, and I said something about it. People will say, oh, he's just a militant, he's lying, this didn't happen. No, it happened all the time. From little kids and grown-ups right next to them, didn't say anything. Now here's an interesting nugget from Hunter himself. So I had a no-trade clause in everything I had not to go to Boston. Not because of all the people, not because of the teammates, not because of the front office, because if you're doing that and it's allowed amongst the people, I don't want to be there. And that's why I had a no-trade clause to Boston in every contract I've ever had. And I always wanted to play for them. It sucks. CC Sabathia, 6-time All-Star, gave his perspective as well. We know. There's 62 of us. We all know when you go to Boston, expect it, Sabathia told reporters in 2017. Sabathia said in his big league career, I've never been called the N-word anywhere but in Boston. There was Kyrie Irving in 2021 as well. When meeting the media, Irving said he was hopeful we can just keep it strictly basketball. You know, there's no belligerence or any racism going on, subtle racism, and people yelling stuff from the crowd. Kyrie, a former Celtic, returned to Boston to play against his old team. Tristan Thompson has been in the NBA since 2011. He, too, spoke of an incident when playing in the city. Thompson was asked if he had heard anything racial during your time coming in as a Cavalier. I've definitely heard guys say some crazy stuff, but I think they're just trying to do that to get into a player's head, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Black ball player David Price, who played for the Red Sox, told the Boston Globe's Peter Abraham in 2017 he heard racist taunts when warming up. I got it all, Price said. It's all right. I don't care about that. My mom is white and my dad is black. I've heard that since I've been in school. There's nothing you can say to me that I haven't heard before. Your ignorance is not going to affect what I'm trying to do, but I feel sad it's still out there. Who could forget Adam Jones of the Baltimore Orioles? A disrespectful fan threw a bag of peanuts at me, Jones said. I was called the N-word a handful of times tonight. Thanks. Pretty awesome. USA Today wrote, this had occurred in the past at Fenway. However, the peanuts incident was one of the worst Jones had ever had in his career. It's different, he said. Very unfortunate. I heard there was 59 or 60 ejections tonight in the ballpark. It is what it is, right? I just go out and play baseball. It's unfortunate that people need to resort to those types of epithets to degrade another human being. I'm trying to make a living for myself and my family. Sports sociologist Harry Edwards, who has long studied the connection between race and sports at the University of Cal Berkeley, told the Boston Globe, there are some things that are so ingrained in cultural memory that it becomes very difficult to change that imagery even when you become relatively progressive. This sort of criticism spans generations. You could go all the way back to when Bill Russell played for the team, became the first black coach in NBA history, won 2 as player coach, 11 of 13 overall, and he was still racially abused. There's a story he told about when he was living in Boston, had a home in Boston. Someone broke into his home, vandalized it, and defecated on his bed. This also goes for the racism that Boston Celtics big man, former Boston Celtics big man, Robert Parrish, went through as well. The point being, if you're going to go after LeBron, go after everyone else as well.